What is up, guys? This episode continuing on preparation work for the trip to Ocean City, Maryland and Chattanooga, Tennessee after that, and then obviously the long haul home. And this episode I am working on my OBS dually. So working on the Ford today, got it up on jack stands and going to bypass the turbo for the trip down to Ocean City, Maryland and Chattanooga. Since it's pretty clear that the turbo is seized up, there's no turbo noise at all, and exhaust is getting through it. But what we've decided to do is, until the project of doing a whole new turbo setup in this truck presents itself, probably this winter, just going to bypass the turbo. So I'm not trying to push my exhaust through a seized turbo and do any sort of, you know, anything bad to the motor on a 2,500 mile haul with a trailer behind me. So what we're doing now is we're just getting some markings where we're going to cut the feed to the turbo and from the downpipe, and make up a pipe that'll connect the two for now. And I'll actually more than likely gain power, since I'm pushing exhaust through basically a seized wall right now. And once we get that cleared up, even naturally aspirated, the thing will probably gain some power. So that's what's on the list today, as well as a few other bits on the truck.
It's 2.5 inside. We could clean
Slip
that
in
up
it
and slide inside. Yeah.
There's enough room to come off that pipe now, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because I know we have to go up and over that cross member.
Yeah. Yeah. Go at least 22, 23. We could go 24 and then cut it to fit. Yeah, bends at 6 and 12. And that would have it in far enough from the end here so you could get it in the dies. 6 is like the minimum.
Yeah.
Without crushing it. So I used to just put a flat bar across and weld them to keep them from doing this. It made so if one hanger would actually make it really sturdy for the whole thing, and
Yeah.
you could hang off this side here and the other side down further or something. Yeah, I take a piece of wire, and with my tape I figured 6 and 12 was going to be good for the bends. So and so about, yeah, I got that about right, about 2.5. I figured about 2.5 for a drop. Use this for a pattern on there when you bend it to get it to there, and then rotate it 90. When I put it in the die, the seams aren't as visible as they used to be, but there's a seam right there.
Yeah.
I always put the seam up so that I've always got a reference point of where 0 is. So your first bend is 0.
Yeah.
And then if I want to do another bend, if I'm back further and I want to be back at 0 again, I can bring my seam on top into my dies, and I know that this is going to be the same as my first bend.
Yeah.
If you want to make sure you got 180, you can roll it around and look underneath and see if it's right there. Or I have that scale if it's critical and you want to make sure you got 180.
Yeah. Yeah.
You put the scale on the end, set it to 0, make your first bend, and then rotate it 180 to the pointer, and then you'll be right on.
Yeah.
This here is more just an eyeball deal.
So I got the sleeve welded onto the pipe, and since my father's the fabricator of experience here, he's gonna weld to the old, kind of crusty exhaust that's already under there. Well, exhaust is in, and we're gonna take it for a quick cruise into town for an afternoon coffee. Excited to see if this thing has more power. Okay, so we got the exhaust done. Took it for a drive. Thing definitely feels like it's a little bit more awake than it was before. Got a little bit louder, obviously, since the exhaust isn't going through the turbo piping anymore. So I think what I'll end up doing when end up doing a whole brand new turbo system is doing a whole new exhaust all the way out, not going to a dual system, just doing one like 3-inch pipe all the way out through like a turbo muffler or something, because I really don't want that blatty sound like most diesel trucks have. I don't want it to be annoying, but I wouldn't mind that little, you know, deep tone to it, but nice tone. Can't be blatty, can't be too raspy or just annoying sounding. But truck definitely feels like it's a little bit more alive, which is great. So what I'm working on now is the trim on the tailgate. A friend of mine up the street here gave me his tailgate, and it's not in the best condition, the trim on it, but it's better than no trim at all. And it's definitely better than a third of the trim. So this is what we're working with right now. As I mentioned, when the gate cables were broken, the gate would get thrown down with this previous owner, and it would land right here on the corner of the bumper, and it's kind of doinged it up a little bit, but that's what broke the trim. It's unfortunate because this piece of aluminum on the gate is in incredible condition, except for that little bump there. Doesn't have the stainless bolts anymore, which I'll end up putting in here. But the R and the D are in great shape. The trim I'm putting on isn't quite as good a shape, but like I said, it'll just finish the gate off for now. So just gonna do that. At some point in the future, I'll end up buying a whole brand new trim for it, and new diesel badge, since that one's got a little crack in it. But for now, it'll look a little bit more complete. Also, Heritage Ford Lincoln Mercury, Cookeville, Tennessee. Good old Tennessee truck. So I pressure washed the gate and cut and buffed the paint. I didn't do the center section here where it's still a little bit dirty, but I did go down a few inches from where it already buffed with the trim piece here. So I got into the grooves, top and bottom, cleaned it up pretty good. And yeah, so now I'm working on the trim piece. The trim piece off the tailgate that I'm using as a spare to get the trim off of is in terrible shape. So this piece I am not using. It's bent in the middle like real bad. You probably can't see it on camera. But I just took some metal polish and put it to the piece off my truck. Again, I didn't do the center section. I just went in a little bit where the trim will meet it. And it looks incredible in comparison to what it did before I started. So pretty excited about that. Gonna get the trim on probably tomorrow, and yeah, complete the look of the back of the truck. So the other truck was a gas truck, so I took my diesel badge and put it on this one. Even though everything's kind of cracked and old, I kind of like the idea of just having everything that's OEM on the truck. So although the truck's rust-free, in incredible condition, especially for a Northeast truck. It's not a Northeast truck, but it's in the Northeast now. Compared to a Northeast truck, I should say. It's still a farm truck. So I still like its character. It's dings, it's dents. So this strip here obviously is not a brand new strip. I have found them. They do sell these brand new, so maybe down the road when I'm putting a bunch more time, effort, and money into this truck, I'll buy a new one. Well, she's on, and back of the truck definitely looks way more complete now. That is for sure. So stoked to get that done. I ended up going with stainless hardware too. I'm pretty sure the hardware that was on this piece from the factory at Ford was stainless, and what was in there when I bought the truck was just some gigantic self-tapping hex head bolts that just looked awful. So the washers I got are a little bit too large. I forgot that this little trim piece sticks out, so the washers aren't directly centered on the bolts, but that's something I'll fix later on. But yeah, excited to have that on the truck. Well, that'll do it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. More prep work for Ocean City, Maryland and Riverside in the next few episodes. Work on the dually and the Century as soon as the lips come in for the work wheels on the Century. So thanks for watching, guys.